YouTubes. All right. Getting ready for some football. All right. Okay. Come on, live YouTube. Show up on my feed. Did you share the link yet? You're working.
Yeah, I just posted it on Facebook, but here, hold on. I'll copy the link to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Are you ready, Mr. Retzel?
Almost. Just let me do a Twitter real quick. Gotta love the Twitter. All right, let's do this, man. Yes.
Let's take it to the end zone.
Exciting football music. Sorry, Kyle. It's exciting football music is back. I love it.
Yes. Welcome to the end zone. Of course, your home for all football news on the Fandom Podcast Network, and more importantly, the official podcast of your Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs.
Not quite, buddy. You're forgetting about the mediocre fantasy football stuff too.
Oh, yeah, okay, you're right. You're right.
And everyone's favorite Raiders team. So there we go.
Well, a few people. I'll give you that. Where are they now? Chattanooga. Is that where they're playing next week?
Oh, nice try. That'd be Las Vegas, baby.
I thought they just moved to a different city every week now.
Hey, wherever the Raiders go, we will follow. But Las Vegas is home.
I mean, I figured Raiders are just kind of nomads.
Well, you know they are. They like to come to your hometown and pillage, so that's good. Hey, yeah, Monster Mash Can is in the chat. What's up, buddy? Woohoo!
What's up? Well, yeah, except the Raiders can't pillage Kansas City, but that's a whole other story.
Hey, we're working on it.
Well, you are riding high because your Raiders had a nice win in the week one of the season, which we'll get to in a moment. But everybody's probably going, "Why are you guys doing an end zone on Monday? The first week isn't even over yet." But Mr. Reitzel, you have a special Raider event you are attending. Now, I know that this event isn't going to quite live up to what you would hope, because you were actually hoping to attend the first game in Vegas.
It's not what it won't live up to what we hope, because we knew what was coming,
Yeah.
So it will live up to what we hope, because Raider Nation is going to be showing up for this, even though they can't go to the Allegiant Stadium themselves to see the game. But Raider Nation is going to be there, and we're excited. We're still a little up in the air about what is going to be allowed, what we can wear. Some places aren't allowing like full facial head cover costumes and stuff like that. Plus, it's going to be hovering around 100 degrees.
Yeah, it's the desert
during the daytime. So, I'm really excited. And so we're doing this a little bit early. Normally, we probably wait till Tuesday or Wednesday to release our Fandom Podcast Network here, Endzone. But we want to do a little bit early before the football games tonight, and just kind of at least talk about the games that happen on Sunday, and of course your game that happened on Thursday. But I'm excited, man. I'm going to be leaving early on Thursday morning, and I got a bunch of stuff I got to do prior to that. And I'm going to be hitting Joshua Tree in the desert first on Thursday, and then on Friday heading up to Vegas.
Oh, you're just now revealing to me that you're going to Joshua Tree, so I'm jealous now.
Yeah.
But I hope it isn't too smoky there. I mean, in all seriousness.
I don't know. I mean, it's it maybe there's a lot of fires here in California, but I'm going to be safe, and at least it leads to the nice sunrises and sunsets that we get.
Yeah, there you go. So, well, let's get started with the end zone first and foremost.
But hold on, I just want to make a quick shout out to all the first responders that have been helping a lot here in California and working their butt off trying to save homes, because a lot of people up in Northern California and Oregon, there's been so many evacuations up there. So much power to you.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, let's get started with the End Zone here. And first and foremost, let's tell you where you can find not only the End Zone, but all the great shows of the Fandom Podcast Network. It all starts on our homepage at fpnet.podbean.com. Of course, too, you can download the Podbean app and just search for the Fandom Podcast Network. You can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Amazon Music. Of course, too, you can find the Fandom Podcast Network homepage on Facebook, and you can email us at fandompodcastnetwork@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Fandom Podcast Network, on Twitter at FanPod Network, of course, here on our YouTube channel, as well as you can find me on social media, Kyle at AKyleW, or on Instagram at AKyleFandom. Kevin, where are you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Spartan_Phoenix. And of course, here at the Fandom Podcast Network. And of course, now on the YouTube channel for Fandom Podcast Network.
Okay, too, and there's a couple ways you can support the Fandom Podcast Network. If you would like to own a stylish End Zone shirt, you can always go to TeePublic. Go to teepublic.com, search for the Fandom Podcast Network or the name of your favorite show here on the network, and the gear will come up. That's not on the network, and thank goodness it isn't. That's all I'm going to say.
It is not, but I had to rep Jim Plunkett today, so there you go.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, but teepublic.com, any proceeds from that go right back into the podcast. It just helps us keep the lights on around here. Too, we love reviews. If you want to go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts and leave us a rated review, we love those 5-star reviews, of course, but we love the input in general, because as always, we strive to make better podcasts to feed your ears. Now, of course, the End Zone is live and exclusive on the Fandom Podcast Network YouTube channel. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just search for Fandom Podcast Network. Since we can get some subscribers up there, we get to get some new toys to play with, Kevin.
This is true, definitely. Help us out on YouTube there, and also like the show. Give us little thumbs up and stuff like that. Appreciate that as well. And then of course support us. What's that?
That was me bringing up the score site, but unfortunately had an ad with it.
So I like that. I thought that was a new jingle. I love that. I want to give a shout out, Monster Mash Can and Ron the Materator up there on the chat. Thank you guys for checking in. Appreciate you very, very much.
Absolutely. We always love it when people check in, even if they're Raider fans.
Yeah, they're my buddies. RFR family, man. And some of them are going to be there too. I know some can't make it, but I'll be meeting up, of course, with our buddy Murph from Raider Fans Radio and his boo Alex out there, and a few of the other made men, as we call them. So looking forward to that.
Yep. So, well, let's talk a little bit about week 1 of the NFL season, Kevin. It was an interesting week, but let's rewind back to Thursday because it was a beautiful day. The NFL kicked off its season in the home of the Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. This is a point where if you see Kevin turning green, it's okay. He knows he's in for it this season. In fact, to be honest with you, let's be honest, Mr. Reitzel, you've encouraged me that I should be more celebratory with my Kansas City Chiefs.
Also, it'd be nice if you had some more Chiefs fans around you too. It seems like you're alone there in southern Florida. Well,
Well,
not
you know how
Florida, but close enough.
Central Florida. But on Thursday night, the Kansas City Chiefs claimed victory over the Houston Texans. Kind of reminded people of the playoffs last year. But the big story coming out of that game, Kevin, was the rookie debut of one Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And this kid made people forget about Kareem Hunt's rookie debut pretty quickly in Kansas City.
This is good. He was advertised as what we thought when it came to, especially as fantasy players as well. And that's why he was at number 5, number 6 overall draft position for fantasy, and that put him on the radar for a lot of people. And Chiefs know how to collect their runners. So you guys got a young good runner there, just like we do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's definitely going to add a new dimension to the offense we really didn't have last year. But there was another rookie that stepped up in this game too, Kevin. We're a little thin at cornerback, but rookie Ladarius Sneed stepped up, pulled an interception down, and did a pretty good job on the Houston wide receivers that he was covering, shutting them down. I think they only had like 2 catches against him total for the game.
Yeah, you guys proved that you're still a force to be reckoned with, and everyone is gunning for you. And the Raiders have been working off season to work on that. And when you guys are down, you stay in the game and you bring all your pieces together. As much as it hurts me to say that, you guys have got all your parts together, and so hopefully you guys can stay competitive and keep going. But we'll see how things go, but you guys are definitely on the road to do well this season for sure.
Yeah, I'm happy with where we've started, but it's early yet and a long season to go. But let's take a look at the games that went on Sunday. And I think, Kevin, the game most everybody was headlining was the Saints at the Buccaneers at the Saints, Brady versus Breeze. And I think we come out of this saying, yeah, the Bucs still have some work to do.
Yeah, obviously I know they have a few injuries there as well. Mike, their receiver, did he end up playing much?
He ended up playing, but you could tell they only had him running certain types of routes. He wasn't running a full thing. I obviously being in the area I'm located in the Tampa Bay area, just south there a little bit. We got the full broadcast of this game, like a lot of the country did, because it was Fox's national game. The takeaway I had was a couple of things. The Saints are a machine that just are right on rolling. They look like they haven't missed a beat. For Tampa, a lot of sloppy play, and I think that's on the coaching staff. And you could just tell they aren't on the same page with Brady yet. This is a team that could have really stood to have some preseason games.
Running game needs to be working a little better as well. So.
Yeah, I think when they incorporate Leonard Fournette a little more, I think things will be a little more interesting in their running games.
Yeah, it looks like that's going to be a 2-headed monster, a committee. So
yeah, absolutely. So moving on, Seattle, another team that didn't look like it missed a beat, and Russell Wilson looks just as good as always, as they really manhandled Atlanta 38-25. That score doesn't indicate how close that game was. Jamal Adams, who the Seahawks acquired in the offseason, also made his debut, and he was all over the field, Kevin.
Yeah, definitely. Russell Wilson is who he is, and he's good.
And one of your favorite fantasy guys, Mr. Chris Carson, had a huge game.
Yes, he did. He went. I drafted him in like 3. I have 5 leagues. I drafted him, I think, in 4 of them. I just, I knew that he was going to get the rock, and you mentioned like you got something, you got a man crush on Chris. I'm like, I just got a feeling, and he lived up to it, man. He's the guy to go to. So yeah.
Well, you had him on a couple teams last year too. So moving on, Kevin, we might have seen the worst team in the NFL in Buffalo, because the New York Jets got ramrodded by the Buffalo Bills. This game was closer than it should have been. Josh Allen missed a wide open touchdown in the end zone and had a couple fumbles, but the Bills just ran rough
300
shot.
passing yards for him. Yeah, I mean the Jets are who we think they are, and they got a lot of problems there. And I think the Bills are probably going to take that division or fight New England for it. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll get to New England in a minute. Kevin, I never thought I'd say this, but the Detroit Lions got Mitchell Trubisky'd. Mitchell Trubisky, who looked terrible for 3 quarters, came alive in the fourth quarter and led the Bears to a comeback win against the Detroit Lions, who should have won this game. As with 6 seconds left, Matthew Stafford hit a wide open DeAndre Swift in the end zone. And I'm sorry, the rookie just dropped the football.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that hurts. Adrian Peterson went up to him and saying, I know this is a tough break. This isn't exactly what he says, but he says, don't let that play define you. Just forget about it and move on and make some plays.
Yeah. And Adrian Peterson just keeps going. He had like 13 rushes for 97 yards in this game.
I hear he's good.
I hear something about that. Moving on, actually would look like it might be one of the premier matchups of the week. The Packers were going to play the Vikings, except Aaron Rodgers went, relax.
Yeah.
And
lit
up the Vikings secondary in this game, Kevin.
Are we going to talk about every single game or just kind of give the scores for time-wise? Okay.
I'm just kind of running down right now with the featured stuff. Moving on, the Patriots, Cam Newton makes his debut and running the ball real well, but basically Patriots beat the Dolphins 21-11. You've got a game that was interesting. I'm going to hit on it a little later, but Washington making the comeback against the Eagles, winning 27-17.
Is it weird? Is it weird that they just called them football team?
There were several announcers, including Jay Glazer, who still called them the Redskins. Troy Aikman did it as well. So we'll save this for a little later, so you have some time to input. Gardner Minshew had a really good day with his 70s look as the Jaguars upset the Indianapolis Colts 27-20. The Cleveland Browns are the Cleveland Browns still.
I'm going to talk about Gardner a little bit later, and I'm going to push back on the 70s look, and I'll explain later.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. The Browns are the Browns. Pretty obvious, 38-6.
Yeah. Let's stop hyping up the Browns in preseason, can we, guys? Even though there is no preseason, let's stop doing that until they do something.
Yeah. I'm going to say this: the Bengals got robbed. There was a very horrendous offensive pass interference call at the end of this game where AJ Green caught the winning touchdown. But props to Joe Burrow for putting out a pretty good first game performance, even though the Bengals did lose to the Chargers 16-13.
Yeah, good for him. I think that that team's going to be doing better, and they got a lot of stuff to write on there, so that's good.
Yeah. However, teams that get a lot of hype that Kevin doesn't like that they get a lot of hype. Kyler Murray, Kevin. The Arizona Cardinals are going to be fun. If nothing else, they're going to be fun with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins as they beat.
I'm impressed with Kyler Murray, but I'm not ready to anoint the Cardinals the winner of the division that they have been doing for like the last 10 years before anything happens in the real season. It's been a little less this year, obviously, because of COVID reasons, but they got a lot of stuff going on over there, and they're exciting to watch.
Oh yeah, Murray is really fast too.
Yeah, and 49ers, they got a lot of guys hurt there, so I don't know if that contributed to it. I didn't watch that game, so.
Well, I know George Kittle got hurt in that game, did come back, but he just wasn't quite the same. And then finally on Sunday Night Football, the Rams beat the Cowboys 2017. I will give that new LA stadium, even with no fans, is quite nice.
That's a good looking stadium though. Not like a particular one I like out there in the desert, but it's a good looking stadium.
Yeah, I'll just say this: when the Chargers play there, that will be the average home attendance anyway.
This is very true.
So let's rewind because I got a little time at the start to talk about my Kansas City Chiefs. Let's talk about your. It's still weird, Kevin. I'm sorry. When Scott Hansen was saying it all day on the Red Zone, it was still sounded weird. The Vegas Raiders.
Las Vegas Raiders, baby. Yeah, definitely.
in a very back and forth game with the Carolina Panthers. Yeah,
a lot of lead changes. But first of all, no one's talking about Josh Jacobs right now. 3 touchdowns, 93 rushing yards, 46 receiving yards. That was the one thing that we were hoping to get more of with Josh Jacobs this year. the offense was able to stick together. We lost 2 offensive linemen, Trent Brown and someone else within like 13 plays of each other. It was horrible, but our depth seemed to come back and help us. And we had guys jump in and do their job. Henry Ruggs tweaked himself a little bit, but still made an impact, stayed in the game, which is good. Hunter Renfro made a couple of key plays to keep a drive live. And our quarterback Carr did well, good passer rating, and kept stuff going and made some changes when it was needed regarding some audibles. For some reason, John Gruden's name was called out for a play. I don't know if you heard about this or not.
No, I didn't know.
John Gruden in the interview afterwards said, "I don't know why my wife's name was called out for a play, but
Okay, so I do have one question about this game, Kevin, and it does involve Derek Carr, because I know it's something that has driven Raiders fans crazy for a couple of years with him now.
Yeah.
Is the dink and dunk with Derek Carr. He's afraid to go down the field. Now I saw the one play to Henry Ruggs.
Yeah,
Ruggs just wide open and a great play. But from what you guys could see, was it still a lot of dink and dunk Carr, or was he taking a little more shots?
There was a flea flicker attempt. There was a shot out there, so that's there. But I think they went to 9 different receivers. So yes, there was some dink and dunk, but they were paying off, and it was nice. But they weren't afraid to make some longer passes. And so I'm not going to jump on Carr right now because he kept things together. He didn't make any stupid mistakes, which was nice. And he was able to call stuff out too when the defense was lining up in certain positions and stuff. So he was earning his captain's patch that he had. So that was good. One of the things that we were worried about, though, of course, and we had some injuries, was our defense. Nick Kukowski got hurt. We don't know how bad his pec is. We don't know if it's a strain or tear. But Jonathan Abram was back, who got hurt 40 minutes into the first game last year, our first round draft pick. 13 tackle performance, and was a beast. And I love the fact that he went with the loose jersey look, which was great. A little throwback to some old school Raiders there. But the O-line did a great job powering Josh Jacobs, and the defense, we had a little heart attack ending there, but the defense was able to stop a 4th and inches there with the Panthers fullback and stop them from getting the first down and take over. It was great.
Yeah,
so.
I got to say, little questioning of the first-time head coach Matt Rule on that 4th and 1 play, handing it to the fullback when you have Christian McCaffrey in your back.
Yeah, they were trying to we were able to keep Christian McCaffrey. I mean, he got his touchdown, that's good, but we were able to keep him from really doing a lot of damage, and that has a lot to do with the defense. And I think that he was trying to switch things up and confuse the Raiders, and it didn't work.
Yeah, I think what stood out for me, I mean, as far as you were talking about your worries on defense, the one thing that stood out to me was Robbie Anderson on that one touchdown. Was there a Raider in the zip code on that play?
Yeah, well, keep in mind we got 2 rookie corners dude.
I'm just saying.
And he got torched on that one. He did, and Gruden kind of called him out on that. So hopefully he learns from that. But Robbie Anderson's good. I don't know if you know that.
Oh yeah, no. I think from my observation on the Raiders, I mean, that you guys have young players, and I think there's going to be some growing pains up and down the season. But there's a lot of potential there.
The question is our depth. They dropped some players to make room, but they felt confidence in the depth, and hopefully the people that we have injured, we'll see how bad it is probably tomorrow. Trent Brown is huge. We're paying him a lot of money for a good contract. He's a great player, but he's been out of the workouts and stuff, trying to stay healthy, and so we'll see what happens.
Well, I think the big thing I take away, and I've made it clear, I have nothing but respect for the guy, but the heartbeat of your team is definitely Josh Jacobs, without a doubt.
Definitely. He's just for the record, I'm going to use the term right now because of what we've seen so far. He could be a generational player, and keep in mind what we got from that trade 2 years ago from who.
Yeah. Oh, I know, and like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see how his career plays out. And I do have, like, you could talk about Patrick Mahomes. You want to hate him because he plays for the Chiefs, but he's such a good guy. And I
Yeah,
feel the same
yeah.
way about Josh Jacobs. So
Yeah, he
well,
is a good guy, and he wanted to stay in and take the rock. So there you go. But I just want to mention Booker, though, the backup, did his job. He had around 50 something yards, 50 yards, 7 touches, was able to change of pace, give Josh a break a little bit, and Booker did his job. So hopefully we'll see more of that, and maybe our other recommend. Anyway, there you go. I'm happy. We got a win. Now we got Saints next week.
yeah, it'll be a tough one on Monday Night Football, though. Speaking of Monday Night Football, Kevin, we got a Monday Night Football doubleheader. I just want to hit up on this real quick and get your predictions on this. We got Pittsburgh at the New York Giants. Ben Roethlisberger returns for the Steelers.
Yeah, this is at the New York Giants. What's the line on that? I don't have that in front of me. Do you know?
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have the line on that either. I think it's been a little bit in flux.
Yeah. Daniel Jones, right?
Yeah, you're supposed new man crush, so we're gonna see.
Yeah, I'm high on this guy this year, and I think they have a chance to pull this one out. I'm rolling with the Giants at home.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh is going to be awful tough this year. I think Roethlisberger's healthy, but it's time to step up for Daniel Jones, and you've got Saquon Barkley. Use him because he might be the best running back.
Exactly, Darius Slayton. I'm taking a chance on him. He's as they say in fantasy football, he's one of my ride or die players I picked up in all of my fantasy stuff, and I like that guy. So we'll see.
Yeah, and of course, with it being week 1, it means you have a doubleheader for Monday Night Football, Kevin. I think we can both agree on this one. We want to see Derrick Henry run all over the Broncos.
I just want to say hi to Nathaniel. Nathaniel, you did miss the Bears chat. Yes, we did talk about that briefly.
I also see Carl Nordstrom in the room. Carl,
what's up, Carl?
We're going to talk about you shortly.
Are we?
Oh, little fantasy football action.
He's a Pats fan.
I know, but you were involved with something with Carl, this fantasy football.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah. But before we get to that fantasy football, let's run a quick little bit of league news. Not a whole lot coming out of week 1, but there are some interesting injuries. Michael Thomas of the Saints is a bit banged up. He has a high ankle sprain, which would talk about besides being covered by what I think is one of the best young corners in the league, in Carlton Davis with the Buccaneers. He only had 2 receptions for 17 yards, but turns out he played the most of the second half of the high ankle sprain. So
right.
That explains some of that. Cowboys had a couple big losses though. Leighton Vander Esch, who's their defensive captain, is going to be out probably about 6 to 8 weeks with a broken collarbone. And then they lost their tight end Jarwin, who a lot of people thought was going to have a breakout season. Yeah. They lost him for the season.
Yeah.
And then another big injury, because done for the year in Indianapolis, is Marlon Mack. Fantasy wise, this is going to be big for Jonathan Taylor, though.
Yeah. Too bad to lose Marlon, man. He's kind of he was one of those guys that was the heart of the offense there, and seemed like a good guy too. So that sucks.
Yeah. Other than that, a little quiet on league news. Of course, with it being on a Monday, a lot of league news will happen tomorrow, but we'll keep you updated as we can on the Fandom Podcast Network page and on next week's edition of the End Zone. But for now, we're going to take a quick break and then come back with, of course, the signature of the End Zone, our mediocre fantasy football.
You guys are going to like this because we're going to share our Jimmy GQ man crushes of the week.
There we go.
Thank you for listening. We hope you're enjoying this podcast. We like to continue to feed your ears by inviting you to listen to the Fandom Podcast Network and all of the other awesome shows we have to offer. It starts with our flagship show, Culture Clash, our weekly pop culture news podcast. Bloody Kings, our Highlander podcast. Couch Potato Theater, our podcast celebrating our favorite movies. Time Warp, the Fandom Flashback podcast discussing a year in movies and our favorite pop culture topics. Endzone, the NFL podcast. Good Evening, an Alfred Hitchcock podcast. Union Federation, our Star Trek and Orville podcast. Hair Metal, the 80s and early 90s rock metal podcast. Type 40, our Doctor Who podcast. Lethal Mullet, a 1980s and 90s action film podcast. What a Piece of Junk, a Star Wars podcast. And our newest show, Making Treks, a new Star Trek podcast with a deep dive into the final frontier with host Mark Newbold and Adam P. O'Brien. You can enjoy all of these great Fandom Podcast Network shows on our master feed at fpnet.podbean.com. Fandom Podcast Network is also on Apple Podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. You can also find us on Facebook under Fandom Podcast Network. You can also email us at fandompodcastnetwork@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter under Fandom Podcast Network. Thank you for listening, and remember, respect others and enjoy your fandom.
Well, it's time to discuss the signature mediocre fantasy football advice here at the End Zone. But before we even get started with Kevin, it's time to bring back to tradition once again the Jimmy GQ fantasy player of the week, the man crush of the week, if we will. And I'm going to start off my pick.
Oh, hold on. Do we need to talk about Jimmy GQ and why we call it the Jimmy GQ Award since we're doing this live?
Well, yeah, I suppose because, Jimmy GQ is the Dreamweaver.
He's so handsome. So we decided to award the Jimmy GQ Man Crush Award to our favorite, best fantasy players.
Yes. And we started out a couple seasons ago once Jimmy GQ was traded to the 49ers and, and he's so dreamy, Kevin. Trust me, it's been a running joke for a very long time. But okay, so my Jimmy GQ fantasy player of the week is Russell Wilson of the Seattle Seahawks. He had himself a day, Kevin. He went 31 of 35 for 322 yards passing and 4 TDs with no INTs. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That is very good. I have him in one of my leagues as my quarterback, and man, that dude's good, man. He earns the money he's being paid, and I love the fact that there's no slowing him down after a Super Bowl. He takes his craft seriously.
Yeah. My runner-up, just for the record, is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who had 136 yards rushing and a touchdown, and is still leading the league in rushing as of we go into tonight. But Saquon and Derrick Henry are going to play, so that could change.
You really had to pick your Chiefs running back for your own man crush runner-up, right?
Absolutely. I would have blamed you if you would have picked Josh Jacobs. So
I can, he's runner-up, but no, I didn't pick Josh. So yeah.
Okay, well, who do you have, Kevin? Because we have to discuss something.
Yes, so I picked Gardner Minshew, completed 19 of his 20 pass attempts for 173 yards and 3 touchdowns in week 1 against the Colts. Now, I know these stats aren't huge, but why did I pick him, Kyle? Why do you think?
Well, one, the fact it was probably the biggest upset of the weekend.
Yes.
And two,
yes.
Who can resist the Minshew mustache?
Okay. So let's talk about this. A lot was made about Gardner Minshew's mustache last year, right? Okay.
It's the mustache and the hair. Let's be honest.
That's what I'm bringing up here. So first of all, the Colts were supposed to win that game. Everyone's like, "Oh, Colts are going to win it." The Jaguars are trading away, and they're trying to get picks, and they're supposed to be losing for the top pick of whoever they're trying to shoot for, whoever the hot top pick next year. Okay. Next year, they have 2 first-round draft picks. They got like 2 second-round draft picks, right? But Gardner Minshew was like, "What? No, we're going to win this game." And I want to give it up for Gardner Minshew here because, first of all, have you seen this guy? He's got the mustache, right? But he's also rocking a little bit of Flavor Saver action right here. And he's wearing the cool headband, and he's got his hair flopping over. I just want to say, this isn't a 70s thing. There's certain people that can rock the mustache. Okay. Tom Selleck, right? Who else? Sam Elliott, right?
Yeah, maybe? Sam Elliott. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no maybe with Sam Elliott. Come on.
I am saying this now. The only other person that can rock the mustache and make it look good is Gardner Minshew. But also, if you see him with the headband, he's growing his hair out. It's all flopping over. I'm going to say this now, and to you guys, chat. Gardner Minshew, okay, is the Andre Agassi of football.
Oh, I'm not going that far.
Remember Andre Agassi? He had the hair flowing, a nice mullet. He always wore the cool thing, and he was a rock star no matter how well he did. I'm just saying, let's give it up for Gardner Minshew. He is my Jimmy GQ man crush of the week.
Well, you do have a runner-up too, Kevin.
I do have a runner-up. Yeah, I got this guy in like 3 of my leagues. Calvin Ridley, of course, from Atlanta. Ridley caught 9 of 12 targets for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns during Sunday's loss to the Seahawks.
Yeah. I want to hit something up though, and I just put it here because I really didn't know where to put it, but I got a special man crush of the week, Kevin, and that is Washington football team head coach Ron Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not familiar with what's going on with Ron Rivera, the man is fighting cancer right now. And his team was down 17-0 going into halftime. He had to go get his cancer treatment at halftime in an IV. But he's really taken Dwayne Haskins, their young quarterback, under his wing and stuff. Dwayne Haskins steps up, rallies the team, and Washington comes back and looks like a totally different football team in the second half and come back and wins that game 27-17. With everything that's been going on with that team, between the name change, the stuff with Daniel Snyder, a lot of other factors, for Ron Rivera to keep that team together like he has and is helping these young men grow into men. Good on Ron Rivera. He's always been one of the class acts in the league. I'm very happy for him that this is the man, quote unquote.
Yeah,
crush of the league.
That's good call, man. And I think that right now Washington deserves some good stories here. They have to find a new identity, and I think Ron's going to help them do that. And when we've lost some good people to cancer recently, Chadwick Boseman, obviously. So for someone to do that says a lot.
Yeah. Also, real quick, I just want to say in that game too, the Washington Redskins defensive line looked incredible, especially for their first round pick from Ohio State, Chase Young. He looked like a man beast on the field. They sacked Carson Wentz 8 times. So, but Kevin, let's get some fantasy football advice for people, because there's some waiver wires out there that are definitely worth a pickup coming into week 2. And it starts with, we haven't been sure who the Rams running back is going to be. I'm not 100% sure we know for a fact he's going to be the man, but right now he is, and that's Malcolm Brown.
Yes, I picked up Cam Akers in a couple of things, but Malcolm Brown seems to be the guy. We'll see. I'm going to see maybe a little bit of a committee going there, but if Malcolm keeps running the way it is, I think he's going to keep it.
Yeah.
And he's available in a lot of waiver wires right now. Yeah. So yeah, just anyone that's playing me in any of my leagues, don't draft him in case he's a free agent, because I want to get him.
Yeah. Go away. Also, Nyheim Hines of the Colts. This goes back to Marlon Mack being out for the season. Yes, they have a rookie that they're very high on, but Hines had a lot of play, especially in the passing game, and they gave him had a couple of touchdowns in that game and some really nice runs. He's going to be a factor in the Colts running game going forward. Yep. Another running back nobody's heard of, James Robinson of the Jags, had a very nice game, but pretty much everybody on the Jags had a nice game. So There's that. If you're looking for a little wide receiver help, I got a couple names for you, Kevin. You got Scotty Miller, actually, of the Bucks. He looks like he might be the Julian Edelman 2.0 for Tampa Bay. Yeah,
good call.
Apparently, as Troy Aikman said multiple times during that game, Tom Brady loves him.
Yeah.
You're still having nightmares about Robbie Anderson right now, aren't you, Kevin?
No, I'm not having nightmares on him. I mean, we won the game, but I'm sure maybe our corner that he torched, our young corner, was it Arnett, I think? Yeah. It might be having a little bit of a ouch.
Mr. Arnett's dad might be calling him in today and saying,
yes,
son.
But I think Teddy Bridgewater likes Robbie Anderson, and if you need someone as a third string, wide receiver, pick him up.
Yeah. And finally on my list, I have Peyton Barber, the running back for the Redskins. He would hit, and a lot of people are still high on Antonio Gibson, but Barber got a lot of run time with the Redskins offense this week. Yep. So anybody else you want to throw in there, Kevin? Yeah.
A lot of people, obviously, there's a lot of, I want to talk about some quarterbacks that have not made it onto people's rosters right now because, they maybe just rostered a couple of them. In my leagues, you can only roster 2 because I don't like people, hoarding decent quarterbacks, but Gardner Minshew, Teddy Bridgewater are definitely, even Kirk Cousins. But I also want to mention Willie Snead from Baltimore. So there you go.
There we go. A few rookies have noticed that a lot of people should have drafted, but if maybe not, J.K. Dobbins of Baltimore looks like he might be making Mark Ingram fantasy irrelevant here
Yeah,
soon.
yeah. Also, too, there's always that tight end position that people are kind of taking chances on too. But I think Jimmy Graham for Chicago and OJ Howard, maybe he's made nice with certain
Yeah, I know he has made
Tom
nice.
Brady.
I have drafted OJ in a couple of leagues myself. So
I'm not sure, but I'm seeing his name here, N'Keal Harry, the wide receiver for New England. Getting some love there from from Cam.
he didn't have a great game, but you know what? Cam was running the ball so much that was another thing. But
Yeah,
Kevin, let's talk about our leagues real quick because there was an interesting development about Thursday in the new CBS Sports League that you were doing. Carl Nordstrom. Make sure you're paying attention.
This is for Carl, who's in the chat. So this is the first year I'm using CBS, and I just kind of threw a league together. I got you in there. I got Jen in there and some other friends, Joey, and of course, Carl jumped in there. Thank you. But it was weird because you get this projection thing, and I got this projection and I shared it on social media saying, and it said at the bottom, you have 0 chance to win this game against Carl. Who is Kessel Run option, and I'm just going under by Raider Nerd CBS for that league. And so I was just like, well, great. Should I just bench everybody against Carl? But I'm doing okay. I have a decent chance to win this, depending on what happens tonight. But I'm up 123-97 right now. Matt Ryan did well for me. He only got a couple points less than his starter, Jackson of the QB of Baltimore. I had Carl Edwards-Helaire, by the way. Chris Carson, I started in that. But we'll see what happens, because tonight I'm starting Juju Smith-Schuster, and he's starting the Steelers defense. And
I think he has Evan Ingram.
He also has the tight end Ingram as well for the Giants. So I'm up by 123-97. So we'll see what happens. Things could change. I could lose, but I just want to say that. So you're saying there's a chance. We'll see what happens, Carl. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, it was an up and down fantasy week for me. I've got a lot of games with 2 games tonight. I have a lot of players playing in both these Monday night games, so a lot of my games will not be decided. I did lose in our CBS Sports League, Kevin. Off to a good start, but I got wide receiver to death by Adam Thielen and DeAndre Hopkins by Joey Pittman. Yeah, I think I'm done with that for a while. But no, it was an interesting fantasy week 1. Lots of interesting standouts. A lot of people with multiple touchdowns, but it was a fun week 1 of fantasy. How have you done in your other leagues, Kevin?
Yeah, I know we're going to wrap up here shortly. The Steelers and Giants game's about to start here, but I have 5 leagues and I'm actually winning all of them. I have Juju Smith-Schuster in several leagues, and that's kind of up there, but I'm going against like a Ben Roethlisberger in this league. There's only one league I'm losing by, like a Yahoo league. I'm losing in a percentage, but I'm winning in all my leagues right now. So we'll see what happens. I'm off to a decent start. Might be a couple of upsets here, but there's a couple that are in the bag. I think I'm going to win. So doing all right. I took some chances and they work. We'll see what happens. What's funny is a lot of these drafts, I got like C-, D, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this is just first week and I'll start to suck later on, but I'm going to hit the waiver wire on a few of these.
First week, no preseason. What could happen?
Yeah, just stay away from Malcolm Brown, guys. Just I'll pick him up for you guys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I might help you out with that little problem you've got there, but that's all I'm saying. Anyway, we're gonna let you guys go watch some Monday Night Football. Thank you for joining us for the special edition of the Endzone Live. Kevin,
I just want to say thanks to the chat, Nathaniel, Carl. We got Monster Mash Ken in there, Ron the Materator. I want to thank you guys all for joining us there. So thank you.
And we'll be getting back to a more normal schedule, the End Zone here over the next couple of weeks. We're going to try to aim, I believe, for Wednesdays for the End Zone so we can talk some waiver wire action and before the games start. So
waiver wire, yes.
But we appreciate you coming in on this short notice for this special edition of the Monday Night Football edition of the End Zone, shall we say. So with that, guys, go watch some football, and hopefully if you have fantasy players going tonight, they find their way once again into the end zone. Thanks to all you guys in the chat. We're gonna go watch some Monday Night Football now.
See you guys. Have a good one. Enjoy your next week, and I'll see you guys in Vegas. Woohoo!
Vegas, baby. Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.